Thank you for tuning in to another episode of InRange. We are here today at the 2018 Tiger Valley two-man team match. Ian is, of course, in Narnia, but we've got Russell Fagan, also known as Sinistral Rifleman here, and that makes sense because, Russell, you've been my teammate for this match for how many years?
We were teammates for 5 years. You were Ian's teammate last year.
Yeah.
But the previous 5, we attended the event together. Mm-hmm. We were third place in 2010 through 2012. In 2014, we won the event. Then you had to make the event more popular, and a lot more competition showed up in 2017, and I don't think we're going to be winning it this year, but we'll see how we do.
Well, that's okay, because we're putting an experiment to the face here, but we have 40 teams here this year, right? So that's 80 shooters. That's, I think, the best turnout yet. Is that true?
There was about the same last year. They capped it because there's only so many people that can cycle through this. It's a very involved event, so there's only so many teams you can push through it.
Yeah, so what the deal is with this is a very unique and interesting match. If you've not watched previous two-man team matches on InRange, this is probably the most different thing that we ever really do, in that it's a two-man event, which is, of course, unique in its own right, but it's also very physically oriented with a very significant emphasis on practical shooting skills, very much different than what you'd see at like a three-gun event. Do you agree?
I would agree. The shooting is actually fairly basic in most cases.
Yeah.
It's made difficult by the other challenges surrounding the shooting.
So in that regard, what we're doing this year to make it interesting, not only for the InRange audience, you watching, but also for ourselves, is we're bringing out different gear. In a more practical environment, one thinks, what would be a more practical gun? And frequently we see in real combat environments, people are going to short barrel rifles, smaller carbines and things so they can get in and out of positions, moving, crawling, etc., which this match has lots of. And so both of us this year are actually shooting short barreled rifles. Now you built a specific SBR for this event.
Right, so I took one of our KE15 Commandos that would normally have a 10.3 inch barrel. I have a prototype 11.5 inch mid gas barrel on it. And I know how much you love my muzzle brakes, so I put a linear compensator on this one.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't concuss you with it.
Okay.
And that allowed me to put a longer handguard on it.
All right.
So this is actually a 12.5 inch handguard, 11.5 inch barrel with a compensator that pushes the muzzle blast forward. Mm-hmm. This match does have a lot of target identification required. Yep. So even though we're not shooting at far distances, having magnification is a good thing. So I'm using the Right-On Optics 1:8 scope.
Okay. So, but this is an SBR, so we're using a short barrel. You've got a smaller, theoretically handier carbine for this event.
Right, it's probably 5 to 6 inches shorter overall than most of my other guns.
Okay, cool. Now I've gone, of course, as weirdo as possible. I'm going SBR as well. I've got an Arsenal SLR106 whatever it is. It's in 5.56. It was one of those ones that, of course, it is a crank by American parlance, but it is a UR, essentially the short barrel rifle equivalent of the AK that was used for tank crews and etc. and special forces within the Russian military. This was originally had a really long barrel on it because when you get it, it has that, and then you do the whole Form 4, I think it is, or you call Form 4 to manufacture, right? Whatever.
Form 1.
Form 1. You fill out a form and you send it into the ATF, and eventually you get a stamp back. And when you get the stamp back, then what you do is you cut the barrel down, crown it, put your 4-piece Bulgarian muzzle device on it, and you're good to go as a proper crank. So that's what I'm using today. This is in 5.56. We did mention that just a moment ago, not 5.45 or 7.62x39. So that's unique in that regard. It does have some modifications on it, a better charging handle, an enhanced safety, or dust cover, as the Russians might say, but that's a way to get this on and off, and that's practical in a match. And because of target identification, got this wonky, very interesting Russian scope. This is a 4X scope. It's got the reticle that points from the top. It's a 1P29. They're very unusual, and because of that target identification need here, that's that. I can always take it off and go back to irons, but the reality is being able to see and identify the target and engage it is important, and this is a 4X Russian scope for that purpose. So normally you wouldn't see that on a short barrel rifle like this, I guess, but you know what? We're putting some experimental ideas to the test here at the Tiger Valley match this year to see what happens, bring in unconventional gear. Pistols, normal stuff. We're using our essentially the Roland, or what do you call them, stealth specials.
Mine's a stealth special. Yours is more of the Roland special.
Roland special. It's a Glock 19 with a compensator on it and red dot sight. So guys, stay tuned. We're going to have a bunch of stages from this match. You're going to see us probably running up that beast behind us as well. And we're going to be trying to engage targets from as close as 1 yard, maybe, as far as out as 400 to 500 yards. We don't know yet with these short barrel rifles. So stay tuned for more.